Okay, the next topic is called nested loops, and this is an example of what we call nested loops. There's actually two loops here. But first, let's just take a look at this statement in the middle. So we have a list box, which is called lstdata. So we're referring to that here, lstdata dot items dot add. So this is going to add something to our list box. So what's it going to add? So I is a variable, so it's going to express that variable, and then we're going to concatenate that with, in this case, this is a quote and an end quote, so there's a comma in between. So this is just a comma. And then we're going to concatenate that with j, which is going to be another variable, and that's going to have another value. So basically we're going to have something like 1, 2, or 1, 1. Whatever I is, comma, whatever j is. Okay, so basically we're going to fill in the list data with items like that. So let's see an example of this. So here I have a list box called lstdata and a button. And inside the button, I have the same kind of thing. I have one loop and then a second loop. Okay, and here I have the same kind of thing in the middle. I didn't have a comma here. Instead of comma, I put this. I could have just had a comma here, but I changed it to the string space next to space. Okay, so anyway, I have like I, which is one of the variables, and j. So let's see what this looks like. So I run it. It says 3 next to 1. So next to was the string. 3 next to 2, 3 next to 3, 4 next to 1, 4 next to 2, 4 next to 3, 5 next to 1, 5 next to 2, 5 next to 3. So what's happening is, first this is equal to 3, and then j is 1. Then this is still equal to 3, and j is 2. Then this is still equal to 3, and j is 3. And then this is equal to 4. So let's see what's happening. So here's the statement we've looked at. And we have a loop here which starts here and ends here. Okay, so we know about loops, and this is a for loop. And we know that we're going to start out with I equal to 3. Okay, and I is going to be 3, and then we're going to run everything in here when I is equal to 3. And then finally, when we've run everything in here, we'll come back to here, and we'll go back, and now I will become 4. And then we have to run everything in here again as when I is equal to 4. And when all of this has been run, then we'll come back to here and come back up to here, and I will become 5. And then again we have to run everything in here when I is 5. And then we'll come to here, and that'll be the end. Then we'll go out. So let's say it again. First we're going to start out with I equals 3. So we're going to start with I equals 3, and we have to run everything inside the loop. And then we'll come back here, and we'll increment I to 4. But before that, we have to, I will be 3, and we have to run all of this. But what is all of this? This is another loop. So we're going to have to run this entire loop. With I equal to 3, we're going to have to run all this entire loop. Now the variable for this loop is j. And j, so when I is 3, we have to run this entire loop. And that means we have to go first with j equal to 1. And after we do that, then we're going to have to go j equal to 2. And then after we do that, we're going to have to go j equal to 3. So I is still 3. And j is first 1. So that means what? I is 3. So this will say 3 next to j is 1. So it'll say 3 next to 1. 3 next to 1. Now, I is still 3. We haven't finished going through this. We haven't completed this whole block yet. We've only gone through it once. We have to go through it when j equals 2, and then when j equals 3. So now we finished it one time, so now j becomes 2. So we still have I equal to 3, and then j is 2. So it will say 3 next to 2. And then we're still not done. We still have to come back up and make j equal to 3. I is still this number. I is still 3. So we're going to have 3 next to 3. Finally, we finish one iteration of the outer loop. This is called the outer loop. This to here is called the outer loop, and this is called the inner loop. So finally we finished one iteration of the outer loop, which required us to complete the inner loop one whole time, in other words, going from 1 to 3. So now we can increment I to 4, and then we have to do the whole thing inside again. So it's going to be 4, 1, 4, 2, 4, 3. So it's going to be 4 next to 1, 4 next to 2, 4 next to 3. Then finally we can increment I to 5, and then we have to go through the inner loop. We have to complete the inner loop again. Okay, so we have 5, 1, 5, 2, 5, 3. So this is an example of a nested loop, and they're very important, and you need to understand them. So for example, suppose you wanted to have 3 next to 1 next to 1. You wanted to have a third loop at 3 nested loops. So try and do that yourself. So you have an outer loop, and then an inner loop here, and inside here, before you get to this statement, you have one more loop. For example, you could use 3 nested loops, or 3 loops, one nested inside the other, to generate something like this: 3, 1, 0, 3, 1, 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 3, 1, 4. Then this becomes 3, 2, 0, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 2. Anyway, play around with it. Try and run a triple nested loop instead of just the double nested loop, and see what you can come up with.